Assalamu alaikum guys. Hi, how are you doing? Inshallah you are all doing good and your preparation is going well. I'm Amro Hajja, third year medical student, and inshallah today I'll be going quickly over the angiograms, aortograms, as well as the bronchograms. They're relatively easy topics. I'll just be going over them because listening to something or watching a video or something is easier than just memorizing them alone. So let's get started. I'll start. So let me just put the pointer. Okay. Okay. Let's go. I'll start with talking about the coronary angiograms. I want you to know something. When they bring a question in the OSPE mainly, it's either going to be talking about the left coronary or the right coronary. They want to bring us a picture that has both of them. Okay. So this concept is going to be easier for you. And one more thing I want you to note is that the left coronary artery, it divides immediately. So what are we going to see? We're going to see two branches in the in the angiogram or the arteriogram, okay? Not only one branch, and we'll see how this works here. So this is a picture of the left coronary artery. I brought all the pictures from your slides, guys. I didn't want to add anything new. So as I told you earlier, the left coronary artery, it divides immediately. So that's why when we see that when we see an arteriogram that has two main branches like this one and this one, we would say that most likely it's the left coronary artery, okay? Here we can see that here's the catheter, which is something that injects the dye. And then we have the left coronary that is going to divide into two main branches, the left anterior descending, which is, as we see here, it's tortuous course, and the left circumflex artery, okay? So two main arteries that they're going to talk about. They're going to talk about the left anterior descending and the left anterior descending, which is one, and the left circumflex artery, which is two, okay? Now, the left circumflex artery can give us some branches. For example, it can give us the left or the anterior marginal branch, the posterior marginal branch, or the obtuse marginal branches. I don't think that you have to know all of these, just LAD and left circumflex, okay? So now let's move on here. Pause the video a bit. I want you to focus on this picture. So here, as you see, we can see the catheter that's coming. As we said that we have two main branches, 1 and 2. So this is most likely is going to be the left coronary artery, okay? And it's going to be giving us one main artery, which is the tortuous, kind of a tortuous and the long course over here, which is going to be the left anterior descending artery. And then we have the other one, which is the left circumflex. Left circumflex kind of divides and ends earlier than the left anterior descending, okay? So it gave us the left anterior descending and then the left circumflex artery, which is over here. And it's giving us its branches, which is the left marginal, the obtuse marginal, as well as the, okay, and then here we have the posterior marginal branches. Now we finished talking about the left coronary artery. Now note the difference between the left coronary and the right coronary. Right coronary artery, you will see mainly just one branch, as we can see here in this picture. So here's the catheter. Here we can see only one artery, okay? Although it has some branches, but the main thing is just an artery over there. While comparing to this one, here we have two main arteries, okay? So let's go back. Here we have the right coronary artery. Right coronary artery has a long course. It doesn't divide immediately, same as the left coronary artery, okay? So it has a long course. And then it's going to give us at the end the posterior interventricular artery or the posterior descending artery, okay? So as we said, we have the right coronary artery over here and then ending up with the posterior descending artery, okay? Now, I will move on to the second picture. Pause, try to answer it, then resume the recording, okay? So, yalla, pause. Okay, resume. Here we have the catheter. Catheter is injecting the dye. As we can see here, we have a main artery. We don't have two main arteries as we saw in the left coronary. So the first one is going to be the right coronary artery, which is over there all the way here. Then it's going to end up by being the posterior descending or the posterior interventricular artery, okay? So most probably they're not going to confuse you. They're either going to put it in the beginning or at the end so that you can say if it's either the right coronary or the posterior descending artery, okay? So right coronary, posterior descending or posterior interventricular artery. Now moving on to aortograms. Aortogram, it's just one picture. It's basically, it resembles what's happening in the aorta and how the aorta is pumping the blood to all of the arteries that are coming out from it, okay? So we have, let's imagine that we have the heart over here, and then the heart is basically pumping. So let's start by this course all the way there, okay? This is the arch. So this is the heart over here. It pumps the blood all the way there. So the first thing that we're gonna have is the ascending aorta, which is ascending, going upwards aorta. Then the arch of aorta, which is over all the way here, and then the descending aorta, okay? Now let's start with talking about the branches of the arch of aorta. The arch of aorta has the main brachiocephalic trunk, which is basically on the right side, okay? So it has the brachiocephalic trunk on the right side, which is giving us two main branches, which they are the right common carotid going upwards to the head, okay? So just know that this is the right common carotid, and it's giving us the right subclavian, which is number 7 all the way here, okay? So giving us the right subclavian. We have a main and an important branch of the right subclavian. What is it? It's going to be the internal thoracic artery, okay? And if you can remember, what's the clinical contribution and the clinical significance of this artery? Coarctation of aorta, okay? Coarctation of aorta is an important concept. Please go and review it. They always bring it in their exams, either an SAQ, MCQ, OSPE, they bring it, okay? And I saw your lecture, it's mentioned over there. So they might bring you a question asking a clinical scenario about coarctation of aorta and the OSPE, for example, and then asking you which of the following arteries, or point out the artery that's going to give the rise to the intercostal arteries, for example, okay? And you would say that it's the internal thoracic, which is a branch of the right subclavian, okay? Then this is the right side. Then moving on to talk about the left side. Left side, we don't have the brachiocephalic trunk. We have immediately the left common carotid, and we have the left subclavian artery all the way here, okay? Yeah, that's it. We went over all of these internal, okay. And then at the end here basically we have the left coronary 16, which is dividing immediately, okay? It's dividing immediately in two main arteries. The first one, which is the tortuous and long, which is the LAD, left anterior descending. And the second one is the left circumflex artery, okay? So as we can see, it's long, tortuous, so it's the left anterior descending. Here we have the left circumflex artery, okay? This is the aortogram. Now, moving on to the last thing, which is going to be the bronchogram. Bronchogram is basically they're assessing the airway, okay? So, which is starting by the trachea, then we have the bronchi, and then going into their divisions, okay? So let's start with the first thing. Here we have all the way the trachea going all the way down. Then it's going to be separated into two main bronchi at the carina. Please know their levels, okay? So know the level of the carina, the level of the separation, and so on. So here we have the trachea. Here we have the carina, and then it's giving us the right main bronchus and the left main bronchus, okay? Then the right main bronchus is dividing into three main segments, because as we know, the right lung has three main lobes. The first one is going to be the superior, right superior lobar bronchus, intermediate or intermediate or middle lobar bronchus, and lastly is the inferior lobar bronchus, okay? So right superior, right middle, right inferior lobar bronchus, okay? Now, remember this, we're going to talk about clinical significance, okay? So here we have the left main bronchus, and the left lung only has two main lobes, the left upper lobe and the left upper lobe, which is basically the airway that's going into the left upper lobe is the left superior lobar bronchus, and the inferior lobe is going to be the left inferior lobar bronchus, okay? Now, here comes the clinical significance. Yeah, the first clinical significance. Let's say I'm going to give you a clinical scenario, pause, answer, and then see what's the answer going to be, okay? So, a clinical scenario, let's imagine that a mother is bringing her child, a 5 years old child. He was playing with Lego, and then suddenly he started choking, coughing, and so on. So, and we're suspecting that part of the Lego pieces entered the airway. Which of the following sites, point out the bronchus, which is going to have this, which is most likely going to have this part, Okay, which bronchus? It's going to be the right main bronchus. Why? Because it's shorter and it's wider and it's going vertically. So as you can see here, it's going vertically and it's wider. So most of the things that are going to dislodge the airway, it's going to go all the way to the right main bronchus. And for your information, furtherly, they're going to go into the right middle lobe and the right middle lobar bronchus and the right inferior lobar bronchus. Okay. This clinical significance is so important, and it's a 100% question that's coming in the exam, either MCQ or OSPE. Okay. Lastly, we're gonna talk about these labels. Now, here, try to label them alone, then continue the video. Okay. So here, as the first, we have the trachea, then we have the carina all the way here, which is having basically the division of the right main bronchus and the left main bronchus. Now, talking about the right, here we have it's giving us the right superior lobar bronchus, the intermediate intermediate lobar bronchus, and lastly the right inferior lobar bronchus. Okay. Inshallah, they won't bring the superior, intermediate, and inferior. Most likely, they're going to give the right and the left and trachea and carina. That's the main thing and the most important thing. Okay, but know them just in case. Here we have the left main bronchus, all the way here, giving us the left superior lobar bronchus, and here we have the left inferior lobar bronchus. Lastly, we're going to have the carina. Okay, now. Okay. So now I have a last clinical scenario which I'm going to tell you about. So let's say a group of surgeons in the OR, they're using their endoscopy, and they entered the trachea. And at the end of the trachea, they noticed a cartilaginous structure at the bifurcation of the right main bronchus and the left main bronchus. What is this structure? You would answer the carina or point it out. You would put the pointer here or whatever the question is asking for. Okay. So that was the end of the simple, mini, tiny, tiny video. Inshallah, it helps. If you have any question, any concern, here's my email, here's my phone number. And lastly, and the most important thing, guys, sleep well. CVP is the biggest exam of the year. Inshallah, you're all gonna do great. I don't think that's gonna be hard, inshallah. Inshallah, you do great. Also, these are the dua that me and my friends always, we sent it on the group and we read it before any exams. So go over them and read them. And yeah, that's it. If you have any question, don't hesitate to contact me, okay? Thank you so much.